Welcome to the best small business podcast, where you get powerful insights, breakthrough ideas, and simple solutions to make your business unbelievably successful. I'm Rich G.
And I'm BJ Flagg, and this is episode 156, 3 years of weekly podcasts and what we have learned. It has been a wild roller coaster ride.
It's been a blast.
Definitely. We have never missed a week.
Yeah, never. And that is a milestone for me. Really. How about you, BJ?
Step away. Drop the mic. Step away.
I know. I can't believe I still remember our first podcast, and then we went to our BNI meeting and announced it to everybody that we're starting a podcast. And everybody was like, oh, this is so cool. And I never thought 3 years we're still doing it. So it's great.
I know. And I can't wait to kind of share all our takeaways, because for us, we have so many subscribers to thank. Yeah. And everybody that's been so supportive of us. Yeah. And I think that through the takeaways, you'll hear a lot of that thanks and appreciation.
Yeah, it's really, it goes to show that, the people that listen to us really write us. They help us move forward. You need that momentum from your listeners, people telling you that you're doing a good job, that the topics you're talking about are good.
Right. Someone listened, which I love. Definitely. Well, let's get into our takeaways.
Absolutely. Our first one is, don't procrastinate, just get started. Nowadays it's even easier to podcast. 3 years ago, it was easy. Before that, it was very hard. Nowadays, there's so many YouTube videos and things out there that'll tell you exactly what you need to do. You really don't need a high-level microphone at the start. Just point your camera and just start podcasting. The camera, no camera. Just start podcasting over your microphone on your computer or your headphones. Just do it.
Exactly. And one of the biggest things that we always talk about is design something valuable and fun. Make it so that you can exude the passion that you have for whatever the topic is. We are obviously, clearly passionate about what we do, and design something you can do. Like, don't make it too complicated.
Yeah, a lot of people try to make it something that it's not, that they're not. And it's like, no, be true to yourself. Make it fun. Have fun while you do it. Because people are listening to your podcast not only for information, but for energy. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Big energy. They're getting motivated. They're getting excited. And they want to feel it.
And here's a big one. Podcasting is fun and powerful when you have a partner. Okay. Yes. So this is a big one, I think, for BJ and I, where I don't think we would have done weekly podcasts. We would have missed a lot of podcasts if we did it separately.
Oh, yeah. The other person is your accountability partner. They keep you on track. During the week, I'll drop a little text and say, hey, why don't we talk about this? Or, oh, just got off the phone with a client and they were talking about that. So we constantly go back and forth. But, the night before the podcast, we always give each other just like a little boost and say, you ready? You getting going? And it makes all the difference in the world.
It's so true. You really need someone to be there, because when BJ's really busy, or, sometimes we're flagging low, I'm there to pick her up. And conversely, there are lots of times when I'm flagging or I'm really busy and
traveling.
She goes, ready for the next podcast.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we do it.
I'm expert at finding where Rich is.
Yes, where I am.
And you know what? Hone in on your podcast format and the structure and build a template, then stick to it. It is amazing. We get a lot of people reaching out to us saying, how'd you get it going? What did you do? And this, I think, Rich, was one of the first things we kind of got into, right?
Yeah, we developed a basic structure of introduction, topic, tips, resource, and close. That's it. And we having a structure allows BJ and I to put it together, to write it within minutes. It's not even an hour. It's like we half an hour. She and I can sit down and put it all together, and we're ready to record.
Yeah.
So.
And, we're avid book readers. So a lot of times we'll have like jotted a little list of different books that we want to add to the podcast. So that is like the fastest thing that happens at the end of our podcast. The other thing is just, if you do stick to that format, during the week, you can drop something in there. It's so easy to work together.
It's so important with a structure too, for the listener, because I've listened to podcasts. Sometimes some podcasts go all over the place, and you're trying to glean information. We found by our listeners, they like that we have a structure. It's tip 1, tip 2, and they're waiting for tip 4, and then they wait for the resource. And us doing this for 3 years, people know they can get in and get out within 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. And we can tell when they'll send us an email and say, hey, in tip number 3, when you mentioned this, do you have anything else to say about that? And I'm like, oh. So the organization just helps them to kind of engage with us, which is so awesome. The next one is gather and collect topics from real life situations with clients.
Yes. Yes. We don't come out with this stuff on our own. It happens to us.
Actually, this is completely real.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think the funniest thing is Rich and I've worked together. We definitely work apart a lot. We have our own businesses. We're doing things. And Rich will tell me about something that's going on and that type of thing. And I'll say, oh my gosh, that same thing happened to me. This thing, this and this. And there you go. There's another episode. So it's awesome. And we thank you, clients.
Thank you. Clients are always, I'll be speaking with a client. I'll go, ooh, that's a good podcast topic. And I'll write it down. And my clients will all attest. They'll go, Rich, you say that at least once or twice a year. Ooh, that's a good podcast topic. So
exactly. So it's all good.
Embrace your failures.
Yeah.
I think we tend to overemphasize when we make a mistake. It's not a failure. I don't think we've had any failures.
No.
I think we've made some missteps, but nothing where it's like, oh my God, it's cost us a lot of money or anything like that. No.
I think I'm reminded of one podcast that we both fell flat, and because we do them in the can where we might have 2 or 3 going ahead of us. Never a problem. Just never a problem. We move on. We just move on.
Yeah. But you're going to make a mistake. You're going to fail in certain things. Don't let it distract you. Don't let it shut you down. Just keep moving forward. Your listeners are loyal. They're not going to listen to every podcast, but when they do jump in and out, they find value in it, especially when what we're doing is we're not doing a Joe Rogan 3-hour podcast. We're doing a 15-minute one. So
exactly. We're the one that you can listen to on the road real quick, catch a bite and get to listen to it. So it's easy to be able to kind of keep moving. Well, one of the things is always learning our craft, right?
Yes.
We are all about like what's going on in the podcast movement, what's happening, what's the new equipment. Rich, you've invested quite a bit in just how our equipment comes together.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a nice blue microphone, Yeti microphone, and really, we keep trying to find the best of the best because we want, having intro music, but not too much. And learning from BJ and I are also avid podcast listeners. I listen to probably 20 podcasts a week, and I'm always looking for tips and techniques. Like, we used to have a long intro. We stopped with that. Very quick music. Get in, get out. That's what people want nowadays. So
yeah, and I think that just by kind of adding little things at a time, nothing drastic, our listeners are not jolted. They're not jolted by it. They're just, oh, that was nice. So it really helps us so much. The next thing is it still possible to create content and value and significance?
Yeah.
That, I think, is always our bellwether. Like, we look at that and say, okay, are we going to keep going?
Yeah. And this is geared towards the new people going, it's been done. There are a lot of small business podcasts out there. I mean, if you Google small business podcasts, there are a ton of them. And a lot of people think, they're saying important things. I'm not that important. No. Get out there. People want to hear your voice. You're going to have a different way to present it. And that's the big thing that kind of stopped BJ and I at the start. We're like, we're competing with a lot of these other ones. It's like, no, just keep doing it.
Yeah. And your unique style and what you have to say, that's what's going to rise you up above everybody else. We have to realize we're not all going to be the Kim Kardashian of podcasts. We're not going to
I don't want to be a Kim Kardashian of podcasts.
I inserted the scariest person I knew, but
yes.
You know what I mean? It's just like you have to do it for the reasons you set forth to do. And we have only benefited greatly from it. So it's awesome.
Here's one that I like is never listen to the finished podcast. Never, because there are a lot of people that disagree with us. They'll say, listen to it and you'll learn. Right. I find when I listen to it, I am my own worst critic, and I'll just pick, and it will intimidate me for the next podcast. And I'll look for, you said this phrase a lot. And I'll be, and BJ will ask, what's wrong? I go, I'm just picking at myself. And I just go, don't listen to the final final product.
Rich and I both write blogs a lot of times that will support an idea that we might have talked about in the previous podcast. And I was listening to the podcast and I realized, no, cannot do, because I wasn't going for it for the blog writing I wanted to do. I was starting to do the nitpicking and I was like, no. So I just use my sheet. I go through it. I review, get my podcast, get my blog getting going. So much easier.
Yeah. Our next one is audio quality does matter. I remember early in our podcast, a good friend of mine who also does podcasts and videos said he listened to it and he said, you really need to focus in on finding the right levels and everything to make you sound perfect. Yeah. And to that point, I was like, that's important. I mean, you don't want it to sound scratchy or crazy, but again, you just go out and do it. I always say it's not going to be perfect. People are going to listen to you.
Oh yeah. They're listening to the message. Clearly you want to get it to a production value that you feel, can represent what you're doing. But that all comes over time. Absolutely comes over time. Sometimes the ROI isn't clear. This is a big point. Sometimes that ROI isn't clear, but doing the podcast is so worth it for so many reasons. Yeah. You agree with this, Rich? I mean, this comes up all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't have any affiliates or any kind of sponsors, but so there isn't an ROI. I mean, ROI is our time that we put into it and maybe some dollars for hosting and stuff like that. But the podcast is worth it so much more when I'm speaking with potential clients and telling them I do a weekly podcast. We have over 3 years of podcasts on my site. And they're like, ooh, really? And suddenly you're elevated. So all of those marketing people and coaches and professionals that are out there that are looking for another way to differentiate themselves from their competition, do a podcast, because you suddenly become an authority in your industry.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that we also get out of it too is going over these podcasts and all the topics. Our craft is top of mind.
Yes.
Your executive coaching thoughts and everything that you're doing, all top of mind. And we're very current. It feeds our book addiction, the amount of books we read, the amount of podcasts we listen to. So in so many ways, we get so much more out of it than we'd ever thought we would.
Yeah. The next one is be ready to innovate. Going from recording in person to Zoom was a little scary for us. And we did that very, very early, way, way before COVID.
I know.
We were using Zoom years ago.
Exactly. Both of us travel so much for business. Rich especially, he does keynotes and stuff like that all over the country. And to get our schedules to jive every week, we needed to be able to have another solution. And someone suggested Zoom, and it's been fantastic ever since.
Yeah, and during the pandemic now, we've had to do it constantly. It's just we're not in the office, so it's easier for us just to pop on, do our podcast, get off, and then post it. It's not that hard.
And we're not going to kid you. We are doing it at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah, we do at 7. But what's interesting about it is I think the only thing that we suffer from sometimes is that in-person versus Zoom is that we're not seeing each other. So sometimes we might step over each other, or we might not know how to hand off. Whereas in person, hand signals and everything like that really work.
Oh, yeah. So we'll get back to that. You'll see.
Yes.
The one thing that we always want to mention is we have a fantastic producer and editor. Richard Scalzo joined us about halfway through and just added a professional polish to our podcast. We couldn't thank him enough for that. When we first began, we didn't really feel it was necessary. Did you, Rich? I mean,
no, not at all. No.
Yeah.
But after having Richard on, he's brought a certain level of, everything is done like clockwork now. It's like, the music's put on, everything's done, it's posted, there's graphics chosen. It's just, it all clicks together. And it's stuff that I think would have made our life very difficult if we had to do this.
Yeah, because even if you think of our businesses, Rich, in 3 years, I opened up Loop, your business exploded.
Yeah.
And you have, so many other things going on, and we needed to have another person. It really has made all the difference. And then above all, we enjoy what we're talking about.
Yes.
I look at it as, we love business. We actually love business, and we love getting passionate about all the content, any topic, right?
Yeah. It's so funny how you could find almost any topic. If you're passionate about it, if you're enthusiastic and you see the opportunity, you're going to spread that enthusiasm, that passion, that energy over the podcast. People like listening to it. I can't tell you, BJ, what I listen to the most outrageous podcasts.
He does.
The different topics and stuff like that, and YouTube videos, creators. It's amazing what I listen to and watch. And that really goes to show the magic of starting a podcast. And by the way, people go, well, it's, podcasts are waning. No. They're growing. You're starting to see major YouTube creators that have millions of viewers starting a podcast. They're all starting a podcast, and it's very interesting because they realize that there are a lot of people that are commuting, that are exercising, that are doing other things, that just want to listen and not watch.
Exactly. So that's it for us today. Hit the subscribe button down below to ensure that you never miss one of our episodes. And if you like this podcast, feel free to share it with your friends. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Click the thumbs up button. The more you click, the more people listen to our weekly podcasts.
And we want to thank all of our core business partners who have helped us hit 156 podcasts. Oh, I can't. It's just amazing. 3 years.
I know.
And of course, again, our producer and editor, Richard Scalzo, the man who makes everything happen. And speak to you soon, and have an unbelievable week.
Catch you later.